How do folks? And today I'm incredibly excited to bring you the all-new Cannonball 25th anniversary alto saxophone. And by the way, they make a tenor version of this as well. So Cannonball saxophones have been around now for 25 years, and this is to celebrate 25 years of being in the business of making fantastic saxophones. They also make brass instruments as well, but clearly we're just going to talk about the saxophones today. We've been selling their Big Bell series and their vintage reborn saxophones for many years now, and this is a variation of the Big Bell series. So I'm going to talk about the specs in just a little bit, but first of all perhaps a small word about Cannonball saxophones, because I don't think I've really brought out many videos on the Cannonballs, if any actually. I'm trying to rack my brains right now, and that's largely because Cannonball have a sales condition whereby we can't link to the instruments on our website, so we can only market these instruments through social media and videos like this. But let it be known that we do take Cannonball saxophones very seriously, and we always endeavour to have them in our stores, in our London store. So if you go into our London store today, you should see a sprinkling of Cannonball saxophones on the racks. So on to this instrument. So as I say, it's to celebrate 25 years of being in the business, and they've put everything into this instrument. So as you can see, it has a black polished nickel finish. Underneath that polished finish is actually a base metal of nickel silver. So that's running entirely up here, I believe, in the bell section, and the neck is also nickel silver. From what I understand, it's actually brass underneath the central body tube. You wouldn't know it because the whole thing is covered in black. So that's the very striking immediate appearance that you will get from it. But aside from that, the other very striking bit is these precious stones. And in a way, it's the precious stones on Cannonball instruments that define them. It makes them stand out from the crowd. It makes us aware that it is in fact a Cannonball saxophone as opposed to any other instruments. And Cannonball have a patent on these precious stones, which they mine from places all around the world. These specific ones are jasper snakeskin pearls, and they're mined in Australia apparently. They look absolutely beautiful, and you can see them at several places up and down the saxophone. So on the side, right hand keys here, on the palm keys here, and then on the left and right hand stacks. We've got one on the guard here, and then there's one at the top of the neck. And it's not just the striking appearance of these touchstones, it's the fact that they actually have a bit of an acoustic bearing as well. They affect the resonance of the instrument. I think that's probably largely to do with the way they're positioned on the instrument. It's at all the points where the player would touch the instrument, and that connection between the player and the instrument does have some significance in the way that the sound is eventually heard by the listener. So there's a lot that's gone into this from Cannonball, a lot of thinking, a lot of research. It's not just a case of sticking a bunch of pretty stones on each instrument. So that's the stone side of things. In terms of the sound of Cannonball saxophones, particularly with the Big Bell series, the sound is one of massive power and impact and resonance and richness, which you will hopefully hear in a minute. I was just having a blow on this yesterday, and I was really struck with the smoothness and the weight of the sound. It's a real joy to behold. So I'm going to get into that in just a little bit. And I suppose other than that, I should point out that the construction feels just fabulous under the fingers. Well, the construction is fabulous, and the setup feels great. The ergonomics feels great. It feels very solid, very weighty. If anything, for my money, I would like certain keys just lightened off a little bit. But then this is a brand new instrument, straight from the technicians. It's not had any playing on it particularly. I'm sure that would lighten off in time, and you could always make those adjustments with your technician if you so desired. One other little point to make. The screws here, these are made from titanium. So again, some more research and development from Cannonball here. They're not just sticking on pretty screws. They have recognize this as an area of weakness. I did a video fairly recently talking about heavy mass screws, and these are certainly heavy mass screws. So this is an area of contention in the saxophone where some of the sound can be lost, some of the vibrational patterns can change around this area, and by adding mass to this area you can correct that problem. So yes, these mass screws not only feel very satisfying under the fingers, but they do have an acoustic bearing as well. So I think that pretty much covers all the specs. Let's get down to it and have a blow on this. Well, I really enjoyed that little play I had there on this instrument, and I'm just going to point out another feature that I forgot to mention earlier. This instrument actually comes with two necks, and this one here is the second neck, if you like, and the one I use first of all is the famous fat neck. So tell me in the comments if you think you can hear a difference between the two necks, but the idea is Cannonball give us or provide us with two necks per saxophone, with the idea that they both have slightly differing setups, tapers within them to give you a different output. And for me, I found that the one I used initially, the fat neck, this one right here, had a slightly fatter sound. Well, surprise, surprise. So it does make sense in a way. You know, some people may have a preference for a more focused, slender, more pointed sound, and I guess that's what I felt I was getting with this neck that I used, which was the one that I used in that latter section there. And then if you're looking for that slightly broader feeling, then the fat neck may be the one for you. So it's probably likely that you find your preference fairly quickly and you end up just sticking to that, and that ends up being your setup. But it's a nice touch that they give you two necks, and you can also see that this one, the fat neck, has the underslung mechanism, whereas the other one has the more traditional mechanism. But overall, aside from the differences between the necks that I've just explained there, the sound is voluptuous, it's fat, it's got a lot of power to it, a lot of presence. The attack is really wonderful. I think the nickel-silver base metal helps to give that extra definition and resonance there that you heard. So all in all, an absolute beauty of a sax, and a great way to announce 25 years of being in the business producing wonderful saxophones. So I thoroughly encourage you to come down to our London store, where you'll find this beautiful saxophone on our shelves, and hopefully not before long we'll also have a tenor version to match. So thank you very much, and I will see you on the next one.